by the way, the one world government. It's very sad. As a side note, and I won't mention his name, I do believe he's a man of God. I believe he loves God. He was a guest on my radio show a number of times. His wife was many times. I wrote him an open letter publicly. I never do that. I think it's the first person I ever wrote an open letter to in the media. But I said, I thank God for all the good things that you've done. All the people that have come to Christ through your books. I thank God for the influence for Christ that you've had worldwide. I'm really thankful for that. I've met people who go to your church and their lives have been turned around. I thank God for that, and I thank God for you, and I thank God for your wife. But I said in the open letter, I'm troubled with your dialogue with the large Islamic organizations in the U.S. because you're saying we can have a restored relationship. How can we have a restored relationship if they still believe in jihad and still believe in killing us, and they believe doctrinally that they must wipe Israel off the face of the map? How can we have dialogue? I asked him. And number two, I asked him, respectfully, why are you a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, whose goal is one world government, and the core tenets of the Council on Foreign Relations is in total opposition to the Word of God? I mean, to put it, I didn't put it this way in the letter, but really what I was saying is, what's up? What's up with that? I mean, really, what's up with that? You're a card-carrying member of an organization that is the antithesis of Christianity, and you want to have an alliance with somebody who wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth and denies the Holocaust? Ironically, I looked to my side, about a foot next to me in front of the Council on Foreign Relations building, was former Secretary of the Treasury Robert Rubin. Just one of the many guests who attend that building. I felt like asking Robert Rubin, but I didn't because I knew I'd be arrested. I said, respectfully, why are you devaluing the dollar and ushering in this one world currency? And isn't it curious that the only people that seem to gain from this economic chaos is the Federal Reserve, which has expanded its powers significantly in the U.S. and across the world. They've expanded their money. They're the invisible government, by the way, behind the government. And men like Soros and other secretaries of the Treasury and a famous senator, this was in mainstream media, all made billions of dollars during this economic crisis. Now, chances are, you like me, we went with the financial experts, and our 401ks look pretty dismal. They made billions. Is it because they're so smart? No, they got inside information. So, how is it that the church can partner with the powers of darkness? And that's what happened in Hitler's time. Now, let's review history, as most of you know. Those that are doomed, those that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it, right? The famous saying that I'm paraphrasing terribly. What happened in history? The church was looking for a political Messiah. Whenever a nation looks for a political Messiah than the real Messiah, they're in trouble. Because ain't no man is the Messiah. Christ is the Messiah. But they worshipped Hitler as the Messiah. He promised a new world order. He also had a universal health care plan. No, he did. I think it was called T4, not Terminator 4, but, well, actually it was Terminator 4, because when I explain it to you, it has much to do with termination. Let me give you a short synopsis of how the Hitlerian health care plan worked. It was based on rationing, or however you pronounce it. So we take this group of people here in the congregation, and those of you who have diseases that are very costly, those of you that are elderly, and that means anybody who's a baby boomer, you're a target baby. If you're a baby boomer like me, what is it, 1948 to 1964, is that it? Okay, you got a big bullseye on your back from the government, okay? Don't ever forget it, those of you that are Democrats. Hope on one side, bullseye on the back. I mean, forgive me, this is very carnal and fleshly, Pastor Chuck, and I'm sorry, but I'm from New York, and I just say, how can you be so stupid? You signed your death warrant. Now, this is how it works, and this is not a partisan statement, because the Republicans, they had their health care plan in the works too, you know. It's not some people got the black cowboy hat. It's not a racial term. Some people got the black cowboy hat. Some people got the white cowboy hat. Republicans are not closer to Jesus than Democrats. Do we have that straight? Some of the biggest liars I've ever met are Republicans. Because at least Democrats, for the most part, tell you what they are. They're pro-gay marriage, they're pro-abortion, whereas Republicans pretend to be one thing and are something not. So it's not a partisan political statement. But the way health care plan is this. If you have a terminal disease, if you're going to be costly, if your child in the womb has diseases, if you're older and you need multiple bypass surgeries, if your kid has autism, or if you have mental illness, or Alzheimer's, or dementia, or you have many kneecap surgeries, or anything's costly, you will be reviewed by a government committee. Now, I don't know about you, but every government committee I ever met was not on my side. They just... So they're going to decide whether you live or die based on the cost analysis. Now, to make sure they do it right, the doctor is going to have a computer in his office or somewhere near you. He will type in the name of your disease, your age, your statistics, and the government computer will tell him what they can do for you, how much money they're going to spend on your treatment. And even if the doctor's a Christian and is compassionate, he cannot override the government dictates on the computer, or he will get a severe, or his company will get a severe financial penalty. So if it's pull the plug, baby, it's pull the plug. Now, for those of you who are Democrats, I just want to ask you a question. Again, it's not partisan. It's just a guy who's, it's a seeker-friendly question. Just explain to me how that means hope for you. Because quite honestly, I don't get it. Having a death panel determine whether or not they're going to pull the plug on me, I just don't see the hope in that. Maybe later on you can educate me, because I don't see the hope in that, okay? That was Adolf Hitler's plan. Same gigs, different time. Rationing, he killed the mentally ill. He killed those who had deformities, autism, all kinds of diseases in the womb, childhood diseases. He killed people with dementia, Alzheimer's. I mean, he had a long list of who he killed. Because the more he killed, the more money he saved. And the more cost efficient it was to deliver health care to the German people. I mean, think of it this way, like an economist. If you're only insuring the healthy, you got a pretty good deal. You got all these taxes and you're only covering the healthy. I mean, if you got a cold, you're covered. If you got the swine flu, which was made in a laboratory somewhere in Nevada, you're probably covered. That's a joke. I didn't do my radio show from Area 51 in Nevada, by the way. So that was Hitler's health plan. Now, here's the problem, why we need to learn from history. Once a nation embraces this death mentality, which Germany did, and the evangelical church did, because it stopped reading the Bible, stopped believing in the second coming of Christ, because after all, their Christ had already come. His name was Adolf. Similar to America, huh? So, once the death mentality gripped them, it was nothing from killing the infirmed and the elderly to euthanizing, and they'll create a fancy word for it, they always